Alright, hi everyone. So this is a continuation of talking about different types of movements in music, in jazz, that help us to make more of the music than just 2 to 5 to 1, okay, because it's way more interesting than that. If you watched the last video, I talked about a particular tune called Lover Come Back to Me, and I'll play just a little bit of it for you. Talk a little bit about something that happens near the beginning of that first A section, and this is a type of movement that's called, this is what Barry Harris calls major to relative minor to minor with the 6th and the bass, and I'll show you what that means. In this tune of Lover Come Back to Me, we start in A flat major and then go to G half diminished, then C7, and then we go to F minor, and then we go to D half diminished. Now, if we look at the root movement there, that's what I just mentioned. It's the major going to the relative minor to the minor with the 6th and the bass. And so in that tune I just played, from A flat major into the relative minor, F minor. So in other words, we went from A flat major to F minor to D half diminished. And if you watched one of the oldest videos on this channel, you should know that a half diminished is exactly the same as a minor 6th chord. So when I say minor with 6th in the bass, that's how we get there. So A flat major, the relative minor is F minor, and if I take F minor and put the 6th, which would be a D natural, in the bass, there's our half diminished. Now, why am I telling you about this particular movement? 9 times out of 10, when you're playing a jazz standard or something that comes from the Great American Songbook or what have you, if you are looking at the chord changes and you see some type of root movement where it's like sometimes it's a tritone away or something, and you're thinking, you know, how the hell did it get there, you know? 9 times out of 10 it's going to be this. It's major to minor with the 6th and the bass. So let me show you just a few of the many examples in jazz standards where this movement happens. Take the standard I Remember You. It happens between the first 2 chords. So this tune is in F major. The melody goes. So it goes F major, and then it goes to B half diminished into E7. Now take a look at this. How is it that we get from our first chord being an F major to our second chord being B half diminished? Well, if we just look at the root movement, F major is what we start with, and then we go to the relative minor, which is D minor, and then D minor with the 6th and the bass is B half diminished. So I'll try to outline this root movement in the bass here. F major, going to D minor, going to B half diminished. And you might be wondering how I came up with this type of bass line. If you've watched a previous video about Barry Harris's 6th diminished scale, we can use the 6th diminished scale in order to get from the major to the relative minor to the minor with the 6th and the bass. So if we take our F major 6th diminished, the F major scale with that half step in between 6 and 5, right? We can use that we can fill in voices in order to give us movement, you know, a scale of chords. So here's F major, diminished. There's D minor, the relative minor, diminished. There's another inversion of F6, and there's our half diminished. So it happens in that tune. It also happens in On Green Dolphin Street towards the end. At the part of the melody where you're on F minor and you say, so it goes from F minor 7 to D half diminished. So how does it do that? Well, it's because F minor is the relative minor of A flat major. So we go technically A flat major to F minor to D half diminished. And it happens again right here. C minor 7 is the relative minor from F flat major. So the half diminished we're heading to is A half diminished. So really what the point of this movement is whenever you see a half diminished 7 or a minor with the 6 in the bass, you have to ultimately go from a major chord to get there. So anytime you see a half diminished, you should automatically know what major chord it comes from. So if I play like E half diminished, I know that comes from B flat major. Why? Because the relative, or E half diminished is G minor with the 6 in the bass, and G minor is the relative minor of B flat major. Like in Stella by Starlight, not at the beginning of the form, but at the end, where you go. This is D minor 7 flat 5, or D half diminished, so I'm going to go from A flat major to get there. Then this is C half diminished, so I'm going to go from G flat major to get there. So there are tons of other jazz standards where this movement happens, but this is very, very important for pianists, guitarists, and especially bass players to know. It's major to minor with the 6 in the bass. When you're playing standards and you see weird, and I use that term loosely, root movement, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be that. So that's a really good one to learn, and it'll really make things clear when you look at the chord changes for jazz standards. So I hope that helps, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks.